What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy Myron McRae, aka Tornado McRae, across the skies of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV, your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. And I hope y'all are having a fantastic Wednesday. Hope everything is going smooth for you. Also, got to give a shout out, happy birthday to one of my best friends, Joel. Hope you're having a great day, my boy. I know we talked last night, but I hope you are having a great day. And if your birthday's today, I don't know. Hey, leave it down in the comment section. I'll give you a happy birthday shout out. Put your birthdays in the comments, and I'll make sure to always give y'all a happy birthday on this show because Panther Nation, I love you. And honestly, y'all deserve to be acknowledged too as we go along this journey together. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into today's docket. And guys, it pains me to say it, but we got some injury news and some injury woes that has come to the forte. And unfortunately, it's not horrible, but it is very unfortunate. Tommy Tremble, yes, as you see in the headline below, Tommy Tremble will be out due to a back surgery. He's only missing the rest of OTAs and probably some of training camp. The deal is Tommy had back surgery last Wednesday, and he had back surgery just to address his back issues that kept him out of a few games last season, and they just want to go ahead and knock that out. He should be good to go by the regular season, or at least to start first few weeks of the regular season. So there's nothing to worry about there. But Coach Canales, he did speak on it, and this is what he had to say about it. He's like, Tommy did have surgery on his back last week, a successful surgery. We were kind of thinking about it, talking about it, looking at the timelines and all that, and just felt like for him to give him the time. He's 25 years old, you know? Let's get this thing while he's young and strong and be able to just get back on the right track. And truthfully, I kind of agree with that. Tommy is a young man. He's trying to get everything in order. He still has a long way to go. He's been great for the Panthers, especially in his time here. And if he's been dealing with those back injuries, he's a tight end. Having back issues is not good for a tight end. Honestly, in the sport of football, having back issues sucks in general. So hopefully, I wish Tommy a speedy recovery and everything goes smoothly and he's able to get back on the field as quick as possible. But not only Tommy, there were some other injuries that kind of had me a little worrisome. Because DJ Wanham, he sat out the first day of OTAs because he was also having back-related issues. And then Jalen Coker, this one actually kind of scares me. I'm not even going to hold y'all. Jalen Coker was out and was limited due to soft tissue issues. They didn't say where he was having soft tissue issues. They didn't say like what body part or anything. They didn't specify the severity. But soft tissue injuries scare me more than just straight up like a bone break or anything like that, because when it's soft tissue, that's connected to ligaments and muscles, and that could be a whole bigger problem going down the line. And we all love Jalen Coker. We all know how great of a receiver he was as an undrafted rookie last year and how he balled out, especially towards the end of the year. I don't want that for Jalen. Soft tissue issues that kind of scares me. I'm not even going to hold y'all. That does put a little fear in my heart. But overall, it doesn't seem like it's severe, at least the way Coach Canales is talking about it. So if it's not severe, I'm not going to speak it into existence of being a severe injury. And I think they're all going to be okay, great. They're going to be great to go. And when it's time to rock and roll on the first week, we will be fine. And I'm okay with that. And speaking of receivers, going into the next subject. So I'm starting to get like y'all, and I'm seeing what y'all talking about more and more as to some of these analysts, so-called analysts, don't really know what they're talking about. I'm not saying I know everything, but I can tell now more and more, and I've been able to do it before, but it's becoming even more and more prevalent, especially here in the offseason. What analysts aren't even looking at the roster or don't understand the roster makeup of the team they're reporting on, let alone our team, and it's getting annoying because our wide receiver room got disrespected this week. I don't care what you say. I took this as disrespect, and that's just me and when I'm looking at it. So came across an article on Carolina Sports Illustrated on .com, Sports Illustrated Carolina Panthers page.com, and the article was written by Zach Roberts, but it also highlights some stuff from David Latham from the Last of Sports World, and we've seen some of the takes that he's had in his articles. But they disrespected the Carolina receiver room in discussing a trade between Houston and Carolina. So here's what I'm talking about. So there was talks about how Carolina would make a trade with Houston and Carolina could get one of their weapons. And here's what Zach Roberts had to say at the beginning of the article. He said, while it's far from the only difference, one of the key distinctions between Carolina Panthers quarterback Bryce Young and Houston Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud is the weapons. C.J. Stroud had players like Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and Stephon Diggs, while Young has had Adam Thielen and a band of misfit toys. Now, I took that as disrespect. I thought that was wildly out of pocket. If this was 2023, if this article was written after the 2023 season, after Bryce's first year, I could completely agree with it, actually. I could honestly agree with it if this was written in the 2023 season. 100%. But after last year, no, I can't agree with it. After this draft, no, I can't agree with that. And like he said, the key word he put in there was has had. So he may still be referring to that 2023 team, and I might have to give him a little leeway. I just might. But then it follows up and goes into what David Latham suggested in regards to this receiver room, and suggested that Carolina should trade for John Mechie III from the Houston Texans. And here's what he had to say about that. He said, this is what Zach wrote about Latham's perspective. Latham argued that the Panthers have an army of solid receivers, but none that are elite. He believes Tetairoa McMillan has elite upside, but he hasn't reached it yet. Mechie could, in Latham's eyes, fight for a depth spot before eventually landing as one of the top 3 wideouts for Young and the Panthers. Really? John Mechie III. Not only that, you said none of Carolina's receivers are elite. None are elite. None at okay, all right. You want to say that? Let's do this. Let's do this because y'all know me. Y'all know I'm about the numbers guy. This is what John Mechie put up last year. They do it bigger in Texas, right? 13 games played, 254 receiving yards, 24 receptions, 1 touchdown, and 10.6 yards per catch. Mind you, that 254 is in a receiving room where he was the 4th receiver. He was the 4th receiver. Now, y'all, I'm going to go one step further. Since they said, obviously, John Mechie would be one of the top 3, let's compare him to our receivers. All right? How does he look against David Moore? Let's see. David had 351 receiving yards, 32 receptions on 57 targets, 3 receiving touchdowns, 51.6 catch percentage, 11 yards point game. So the only thing Mechie beat him in was catch percentage. All right. You let's go Jatavian Sanders. What about you, Jatavian? 342 receiving yards, 33 receptions on 43 targets, 1 receiving touchdown, 76.7 catch percentage, 10.4 yards per catch. Only thing Mechie beats him in is yards per catch. Okay, let's go one more. Let's go Jalen Coker. Jalen Coker, 478 receiving yards, 32 receptions on 46 targets, 2 receiving touchdowns, 69.6 catch percentage, 11 yards per catch. And Coker did this in fewer games. Coker did this in fewer games played. But okay, you want to keep going. You want to say he's not elite. Let's go to the next one. Xavier Legette. This is the one you may have an argument because I know a lot of y'all don't think Legette is that great. And I can see why. But 497 receiving yards, 84 targets, 49 receptions, 4 receiving touchdowns, 58.3 catch, and 10.1 yards per catch. So here Mechie beats him in catch percentage and yards per catch. All right, cool. He beats him in 2 categories. Then let's go one more to Adam Thielen. 615 receiving yards, 62 targets, 48 receptions, 5 TDs, a 77.4 catch percentage, 12.8 yards per catch, and he did that in 10 games. But you want to sit there and tell me that John Metchie is going to beat all of them. John Metchie is going to beat all of them in a receiving room where he was already the fourth guy. In this receiving room, he would be the fifth or sixth guy, and that's not counting Ted McMillan and Jimmy Horn and Hunter Renfrow. And honestly, if we really want to think about it, maybe Dan Chisena and Kobe Hudson too, because we haven't seen them get a chance to ball out. John Metchie comes here and is the elite receiver. Thielen's not elite. Coker ain't got the potential to be elite. Legette doesn't have the potential to be elite. This is what irks me. I'm sick of this, bro. Like, just say you don't pay attention to Carolina because, one, you wouldn't even make this dumb of a trade. Why would you send Metchie to a team that's loaded at wide receivers? And he's already being shadowed by other receivers in his own team just to go to an even deeper team at the receiver position. Why? That lets me know you don't pay attention to Carolina Panthers. What are we talking about here? And then, two, you want to sit there and say, oh, well, Metchie can be elite. These other guys, except for Ted, aren't elite. They're just solid. Okay. I get Thielen's past his prime, but come on now. I get Legette's only going into his second, third year, but come on now. I get Coker's going into his second year. Actually, yeah, Legette and Coker, they're going in their second years. I get they're still young, but come on now. Jatavian Sanders, second year. Come on now. Don't disrespect. Do not be disrespectful. Like, yeah, some of you analysts, bro, I don't get how you got there and you're on this platform, but that's the idea that you come like, it could have taken you 2 seconds to look like, oh, bro, they are loaded at the receiver position. Let's compare the numbers. Yeah, nah, Metchie probably wouldn't fit there. And I know later in the article, Zach Roberts also agrees that, hey, sending Metchie there, he disagrees with Latham sending Metchie there. But I didn't like the way Zach Roberts was like, oh, hey, it's just been Adam and the band of misfit toys. And I'm like, all right, bro, if you want to say that for 2023, cool. But 2024, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And now, especially after the draft and the additional weapons, absolutely not. No, we're not doing that. So just cut that out. So, yeah, nah, bro. I didn't like that at all. And then lastly, guys, we're talking about the weakness of the Panthers heading into the 2025 season. And what is the Carolina Panthers' weakness? Well, Christian DeAndrea from USA Today thinks he has the answer. And here's what he had to say. So, Christian, he said, this is the issue for Carolina. Let's give Bryce Young the benefit of the doubt. He improved significantly over the back half of head coach David Canales' debut season. Now he's got a big life raft in the form of Tedero McMillan to help bail him out of bad situations. The defense, however, can rely on J.C. Horn and a back from injury Derek Brown. I'd put free agent addition Trayvon Moehrig in the circle of trust as well. Everyone else in the lineup will be tasked with improving a defense that ranked 32nd in points per allowed, yards given up, and expected points added per play in 2025. Now I'm going to say this. Christian's not wrong. He's not wrong in this statement. But I think it's not an original take. And I think it's a take, truthfully, that's a pre-draft type of take. Like, if you said that before the draft and before free agency started, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Because that's a logical take in my mind. If you said that before Moehrig was signed and before free agency started and before the NFL draft, cool. I get it. That is a reasonable statement to make. However, I feel like all of that was addressed in the draft and free agency. I feel like a lot of it was addressed in the draft and free agency, especially on the front end, because you have Umamiela and Scourton drafted to help with the pass rush at the edge position. You have Derek Brown coming back to be with Bobby Brown and Treshaun Wharton. Then you added Roseboom in the linebacker room in the middle. So for the front seven, I'm not as worried. And saying, because he was saying like 70% of the problem is on the defense alone. And I'm just like, like, just saying, hey, yo, 70% of Carolina's weakness is the defense, that's kind of generic. It's kind of very generic, very vague. Like, what specifically is the weakness? Now, if you want to say, if I had to pinpoint, even after all the signings and everything, I would say our weakness is going to be dependent on the secondary, on the play of our secondary. I think a lot of us will agree with that. If we don't sign another safety, like a solidified safety, or if we don't go and get a solidified opposite corner of JC, our weakness this season is going to be how our secondary plays, how this young core and everybody that we play in the secondary handles their responsibilities. Because if they manage to hold their own, truth be told, I think we can have a top 15, top 20 defense. I'm not going to say like top 10 because I also want to be realistic. We haven't seen them on the field and doing their thing, but I think we can have a top 15, top 20 defense. If they can't, we are going to have an issue with passing teams over the top, and it's going to be bad. JC can only cover so much. Like, Trayvon Moore can only cover so much. If Lathan Ransom can only cover so much. If he's not doing good, we're kind of SOL. If Mike Jackson can't do anything, we're SOL, bro. They're just going to get picked on, and it's going to be bad. So if I had to pick a weakness looking ahead into the season after all the additions and after everything that's gone down, I would say it is it will be the play of our secondary. I truly believe that if our secondary is managed to hold water, hold serve, and what's crazy is our secondary was the better part of our defense last year. But I think the overhaul that Dan Morgan and the team did to try and address the front seven now shifts the paradigm back to the secondary, especially we're also getting Derek Brown back and some people from injury. So, now the shift is back on how our corners and our safeties hold water on the back end, especially if our edge rushers can't get there. How good are they in coverage? But, guys, that's all I have for today's episode. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at the bottom so you can always get reminded of when these videos drop. And next, always, comment below. Let me know what you think about the injury news for Tommy Tremble, Wanham, as well as Jalen Coker. Do you feel like our receiver room just got disrespected and things of that nature? Do you think we should trade for John Mechie? Do you think he'd be a better fit here in Carolina? And lastly, what do you think our weakness is going to be heading into 2025? Is it defense? Is it the D-line? Is it front seven? Is it our secondary? Or is it somebody on offense? Is it our offensive play? And things of that nature. And I know you could always make the argument it may be Bryce's play. That could be a weakness too. Let me know all of that below, because at the end of the day, guys, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with two tats. Peace. Much love to all of you, Panther Nation. Take care. Later days. And as always, keep pounding. I'll see you next time.